What's up, Guardians? In this lesson, we're going to explore technical controls in cybersecurity, what they are, why we need them, and some common examples. In cybersecurity, we often talk about different types of security controls. Technical controls, sometimes called logical controls, are the tools and systems we use to protect our digital assets from threats. Think of how locks and alarm systems protect a building. In the digital world, technical controls use hardware or software to guard against cyber attacks and keep information safe. These controls are a core part of any cybersecurity strategy, helping organizations prevent attacks and fix vulnerabilities to keep data secure. Now, let's talk about some practical examples of technical controls. We'll cover a few that you'll encounter often: firewalls, antivirus software, encryption, access control systems, and intrusion prevention systems. For each, I'll explain what it does in simple terms and give a real-world analogy to make it clearer. First up, firewalls. A firewall is like a security guard at the entrance of a building. It monitors network traffic and decides who's allowed in or out based on specific security rules. In other words, firewalls filter incoming and outgoing network data to block unauthorized access. Now imagine your company's network is a house. The firewall is the locked front door or the guard checking IDs, making sure only trusted visitors or legitimate traffic gets through and keeping the bad guys out. By doing this, firewalls help prevent attackers from sneaking into your network. They can be hardware devices or software on your computer, and they're often the first line of defense protecting your network perimeter. Next, antivirus software. If a firewall is like a guard at the door, think of antivirus software as your digital immune system or a doctor for your computer. Antivirus software scans files and memory for malicious code and removes or quarantines it to prevent damage. For instance, when you download a file, the antivirus will check it, much like a doctor checking a patient for a virus. And if it finds a known virus or malware, it will block it. In real-world terms, this is like having a medical scanner that spots germs on someone trying to enter a building and stops them from bringing diseases inside. Now, antivirus programs need regular updates to recognize new threats, and they are a crucial technical control to catch and neutralize malware before it spreads. Now let's talk about encryption. Encryption sounds fancy, but the idea is simple. It's like using a secret code to protect information. When you encrypt data, you transform it into a jumbled format that only someone with the right key can decipher. Think of sending a letter in a language only you and your friend understand. Even if someone intercepts the letter, it looks like gibberish to them. In the digital world, encryption works similarly. For example, when you do online banking, your password and financial data are encrypted when sent over the internet, so that even if a hacker intercepts the message, they can't read it without the key. Encryption ensures confidentiality, which means that only authorized parties with the key can read the information. This technical control is used everywhere, from encrypting files on your hard drive to encrypting data transmitted between your web browser and a website. You might notice the padlock icon in your web browser. That means encryption is in use. It's a fundamental way to safeguard sensitive data. Our fourth example is access control systems. This term basically means any technical system that manages who can access what in your digital environment. For instance, when you log in to your work computer or an email account, the system is checking your credentials, username, password, and maybe a second factor code to decide if you're allowed in. Access control systems enforce that only authorized users or processes can get into certain systems or data. Here's a simple analogy. It's like having a bunch of locked doors inside a building, where each door requires a specific key card. Even if you got in the front door, you can only enter rooms you're authorized for. In cybersecurity, access controls include things like user authentication, which is verifying you are who you claim to be, and authorization, which is ensuring you can only do or see what you're permitted to. For example, your company's payroll files might only be accessible to HR personnel. Others who try to open those files will be denied, just like a person without the right key card can't enter a restricted room. This keeps sensitive information safe from prying eyes internally as well as externally. Finally, intrusion prevention systems, or IPS for short. An IPS is a bit like a high-tech security system that not only sounds an alarm, but also takes action to stop an intruder. In technical terms, an IPS monitors network or system traffic for malicious activity and automatically blocks or prevents those threats when detected. Imagine a security setup in a building where if someone tries to break in, the system immediately locks down doors or a security guard tackles the intruder. The break-in is stopped in its tracks. That's what an IPS does for your network. It's constantly watching the data flowing through, and if it recognizes a pattern that looks like an attack, say a known hacking attempt or a flood of malicious traffic, it will block that traffic or cut off the connection before the attack succeeds. This is slightly different from an IDS, or an intrusion detection system, which would only alert you of a possible attack. An IPS goes one step further by actively preventing the attack. For example, if an IPS detects someone trying a denial of service attack on your servers, it can automatically drop those malicious network packets or ban the source, thereby keeping your system safe. It's another key technical control to detect and thwart attacks in real time. Now let's do a quick recap. Throughout this lesson, we've seen that technical controls come in many forms. Some prevent attacks, some detect them, and others protect data or restrict access. What they all have in common is that they are all implemented through technology to bolster security. For beginners in IT, it's important to recognize that no single security tool is enough on its own. In practice, organizations use multiple technical controls together to build a strong layered defense, often called defense in depth. For example, a company might use a firewall to secure its network boundary, antivirus on each computer to catch malware, encryption to protect sensitive data, access controls to limit user privileges, and an IPS to block advanced threats, all working together. Each control addresses different aspects of security, and together they significantly reduce the risk of a breach. To wrap up, technical controls are an essential piece of cybersecurity. They work alongside other measures like security policies or physical safeguards as part of a broader security strategy. But our focus today was on the tech side. Remember, technical controls are your hands-on defense tools. The firewalls, antivirus programs, encryption algorithms, access management systems, and intrusion prevention systems that help keep attackers out and protect your information. By understanding these tools and how they work, you as IT professionals can better secure your networks and data. Thanks for listening, and stay safe out there in the digital world.
CyberTech, run it up. Started from the bottom, now my search on the wall.